Have you ever seen a long line of people queued up outside a store you've never heard of and suddenly felt an inexplicable curiosity, an urge to know what's inside? That isn't just curiosity. It's an invisible psychological force at work. Or, while scrolling through TikTok, you see a seemingly silly dance. At first, you scoff at it. But after seeing it for the 10th, then the 20th time, you suddenly find yourself practicing the moves in your room. Why is that? This phenomenon is even more potent in the world of finance. An obscure cryptocurrency, a meme stock, suddenly becomes the topic of conversation everywhere. Your friends, the forums, the news, everyone is talking about it. The feeling of being left behind is terrifying. You promise yourself you'll stay out, that you'll be rational. But then, you find yourself downloading a trading app, wiring money just to get a piece of the frenzy the rest of the world seems to be enjoying. Why do we act this way? Why do the opinions and actions of the crowd have such a powerful influence on our most personal decisions? This is one of the most fundamental questions about human nature. Are all of us, no matter how intelligent or educated, fundamentally just sheep, blindly following the herd? Or is there a deeper explanation, an ancient survival mechanism governing us from our subconscious? Social scientists have an official name for this phenomenon, the bandwagon effect. It describes the tendency of people to adopt certain behaviors or beliefs simply because many other people are doing so. But to truly understand its power, we can't just stop at a definition. We must travel back in time, to an era where being different didn't just mean being an outcast. It could mean paying with your life. Imagine you're a prehistoric human living in a small tribe. One day, while resting, someone in your tribe suddenly leaps to their feet and starts running for their life. What do? Do you stop to figure out if it was a lion or just a rabbit? No, you run first, ask questions later. In that environment, the skeptic gets eaten. The one who followed the crowd survives to pass on their genes. This herd instinct isn't a flaw. It's a survival mechanism etched into our DNA over hundreds of thousands of years. That ancient survival instinct is still very much alive inside our modern brains, and when it gets combined with the complexities of human economy, it can create one of the most bizarre and destructive phenomenon in history, a financial bubble. To see this instinct in its most extreme form, let's travel to the Netherlands in the 1630s. This was the Dutch Golden Age. Amsterdam was the wealthiest city on earth, a bustling hub of global trade. The Dutch were masters of commerce, and their new upper class had an obsession: exotic, beautiful tulip flowers imported from the far-off Ottoman Empire. At first, tulips were a status symbol, a luxury item for the rich to display in their gardens. But some rare multicolored bulbs, affected by a specific virus, became exceptionally valuable. Soon, people realized that the price of these bulbs was consistently rising, and a new idea took hold. Tulips weren't just for planting, they were for trading. The bandwagon effect began to stir. Merchants saw their peers making fortunes. They started buying bulbs not for their gardens, but purely to sell them at a higher price. The rising prices attracted more and more people, creating a feedback loop of escalating value. Soon, it wasn't just merchants. Craftsmen, farmers, weavers, and servants, people from all walks of life began to pour their life savings into tulip bulbs. They weren't buying a flower. They were buying a ticket to guaranteed wealth, fueled by the terrifying fear of being the only one left behind. The market detached from reality completely. Formal trading exchanges were set up in taverns. People traded land deeds, livestock, and entire life savings for single bulbs that they had never even seen. At the peak of the mania, one Semper Augustus bulb was reportedly sold for the price of a grand estate on the Amsterdam canals. The entire nation was caught in a collective delusion. The logic was simple and circular. Prices must keep going up because everyone else believed they would. The bandwagon had become an unstoppable force, and everyone was cheering. And then, in the winter of 1637, the music stopped. At a routine auction in the city of Haarlem, for the first time, there were no buyers at the offered price. Word spread like wildfire. The confidence that had propped up the entire market vanished in an instant. Panic set in. The very same crowd that had desperately scrambled to buy in at any price was now even more desperate to sell at any price. It was a race to the bottom. The bandwagon, which had been climbing a mountain, was now careening off a cliff. The price of tulips collapsed, falling over 99% in just a few weeks. Fortunes were wiped out. A nation of newly minted tulip millionaires became a nation of bankrupts. The tulip mania serves as the ultimate historical lesson. Our ancient herd instinct, when applied to modern markets, can lead an entire society to collective madness. You might be thinking, that was almost 400 years ago. We're much smarter now. But are we? Our brains haven't changed. The arenas have. The bandwagon effect is more powerful than ever, and it's being weaponized in ways the tulip traders could never have imagined. In modern marketing, it's a science. When you shop online, you're constantly being nudged by the crowd. Bestseller labels, 5-star reviews, and testimonials are all forms of social proof. They are designed to bypass your rational analysis. Websites show you notifications like, 23 people are viewing this item right now, or purchased 15 times in the last hour. This isn't just information. It's a carefully crafted injection of urgency and social pressure, activating your fear of missing out and your desire to join the in-group. On social media, the bandwagon effect is the business model. Algorithms are not designed to show you what's true. They're designed to show you what's popular. A video gets a few likes, so it's shown to more people. This gets it more likes, which gets it more views. It's an information cascade. This is why viral trends and challenges spread so rapidly. The motivation is less about the content of the trend itself, and more about the social reward of participation, of being part of the collective experience. It's our tribal brain craving a sense of belonging in a digital world. And nowhere is this more dangerous than in modern investing. When you see a new cryptocurrency or a meme stock like GameStop exploding, you're witnessing a digital tulip mania. The charts, the memes, the online communities, it's a powerful siren call. Your ancient brain screams, the tribe is running towards that. If I don't follow, I'll be left behind to starve. This primal fear of missing out, or FOMO, overwhelms any rational financial analysis. You buy in at the peak, driven by the crowd. This is where the bandwagon effect creates a perfect psychological storm, combining with other biases. Confirmation bias filters out any negative information as you're surrounded by an echo chamber of fellow believers. The sunk cost fallacy then makes it impossible to sell when the price starts to fall. And online forums like Reddit's Wall Street Bets during the GameStop saga became the modern equivalent of a Dutch tavern, a place where a group of people, isolated from dissenting views, reinforced their own reality, creating a powerful narrative of us versus them. And just like the tulip traders, they believe the party will never end. They cheer each other on as the bandwagon accelerates towards the cliff edge, until, inevitably, it goes over. So, how do we protect ourselves? We can't just decide to turn off a primal survival instinct. That's like trying to tell your heart not to beat faster when you're scared. The instinct will always be there. But we can do something more powerful. We can become aware of it. We can learn to recognize the feeling of the crowd's pull.
And we can build a system, a mental firewall that creates a crucial pause between the social impulse and the final action. Here are 3 practical mental tools you can use to think for yourself and decide if the bandwagon is worth jumping on. Tool number 1, the intrinsic why question. Before you buy that trending product, invest in that hot stock, or join that viral challenge, stop and ask yourself one simple question. Why am I really doing this? If nobody in the world was doing this, would I still want to do it? This forces you to separate the item's intrinsic value to you from its social value. Tool number 2, actively play devil's advocate. Our brain is lazy. It wants to agree with the consensus. You have to force it to do the hard work. If 1,000 people on Twitter are saying a stock is going to the moon, your job